We think India itself is a defensive market, and it's proven that fairly spectacularly in the last 4 to 6 weeks. In fact, there have been periods when India was actually going up, Indian equities, on days when the S&P was going down, which is very unusual. So it is anything but a high beta situation. And it shares that characteristic with some other markets, that defensive characteristic. So at a global level, we're not bullish on markets. Our S&P target is 2750, which is clearly below where the index is trading now. But we think India can grind out outperformance in this environment, and it has this somewhat different characteristic that whereas global growth is softening significantly, I would say in terms of disappointment, I would say the overall growth rate in India has not achieved its potential. But corporate performance has been very strong, and the execution of certain business models, both in the domestic and exporting side, has been very strong. Well, for the Sensex, we think 45,000 is a reasonable one-year forward target, and that gives much more upside than we have for global emerging markets, so double-digit upside more or less, and whereas we have only 2 or 3% upside for global emerging markets. I think there's a number of things that India has going for it. Obviously, there's the government coming in for a second term. We've got an interest rate cutting cycle underway. We've got the oil price falling, which is always helpful. I do think the banking sector issues attract a lot of attention, but I think we are getting closer to resolution on those, hopefully. And as that happens, we should hopefully start to see growth picking up, which is very, very important to sort of deliver on the opportunity here. In terms of the earnings growth and the multiple, our Sensex target, 45,000, seems like 18.5 multiple, something like high teens to 20% earnings growth, that earnings will bounce back and that growth will bounce back. If that doesn't come through, then there would be risk to that kind of target and strategy.